corpse, the screams of a loved one. All bodies leave their mark. You cannot be near the newly dead without feeling it.
Hey Junkies, what's going on? This is Kishiro. We're back with Culture Junkies Live. Welcome back. It's the week of Christmas, and we got a really great show in store for you today. Today we're going to talk about Assassin's Creed. We're going to talk about Rogue One, but more importantly, we're going to give you guys some gifts because it's the week of Christmas. But before we get into all of that, who's going to be on the show today? It's going to be Josh. What's up, man?
I am happy to be here, folks. What's up?
Good to see you. Good to see you, sir. We got the great Datakuji. What's going on, fam?
The great, yeah, I'm here.
Okay, clean your palate next time before you kind of get in
speak,
there.
brain is faster than mouth.
Okay, and the big Kahuna, what's up, man? Que pasa?
What's up, my friend?
Bolo Young, looking fool.
Oh.
Right. And last but not least, wait a minute. Who's that over there in the dark? What's going on over there?
If this is a counselorship, where's the ambassador?
Oh, nice effect. It's GQ. What's going on, man?
Not too much, man. Right here, ready to talk about the most powerful villain in all of cinema. Dude is a beast.
Oh, yes.
I'm sorry, spoilerific. I don't give a damn.
Right.
We got to talk about that.
Yes, we do. We will talk about it.
Very excited.
We will definitely talk all about it. You are absolutely right.
I feel like I should have had a hard drive in my hand running away from...
Know it.
Yeah, so I'm not currently watching Facebook. To everybody that's out there on Facebook and over there on Twitch, I can't see the chat right now, but we welcome you. We want to wish you guys a happy Christmas. But let's go ahead and get started. Let's catch up with what happened this weekend. And number one of the things that happened this weekend, freaking Rogue One. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me with Rogue One, man? Can we all just go ahead and universally say that it kind of vaulted episode 7, shot right straight past all the prequels and just went into another realm? What do you guys say?
It was awesome. I mean, it cleared up. It like opened up New Hope. Made me want to go home and watch it, which is what I did actually. And there's so many Easter eggs.
I'm gonna tell you something. I liked the movie tremendously. Second time viewing of it, though, the rating kind of came down a little bit because truly and really, though, out of the 2.5 hours of that movie, you could take a half hour of it and stick it in friggin' New Hope and get the same. You can get. Hello?
Yeah, I think the same thing that we had the same effect when I watched episode 7 the first way. It was pretty much the same thing for me. I watched the first time. I thought I was really blown away and impressed. I watched the second time, and it was a lot more analytical about everything that went on. So I think on a second viewing, I might be a little more analytical like you, Dido. But I thought it was a really enjoyable flick.
I agree. It definitely was an enjoyable flick. But I think there were a few things that we can all agree that were kind of forgettable. To me, the number one most forgettable thing was the main character herself, man. I mean, she had basically no character in my opinion. I have no real compelling reason to really care about Jyn Erso. I just don't. What do you guys say?
You weren't supposed to. Supposed to get in, get out, and because again, they were telling a story that you already basically know how it ends. So they were just really filling in the gaps of, oh, okay, I wonder how they got those original Death Star plans. Well, now we know. But again, you never heard of any of these characters before Rogue One, and you didn't hear anything about them after Rogue One.
And there's a
Because the
reason.
whole idea was, they did what they were supposed to do and they got offed. So you were, okay, as a female lead, she did fine. She did exactly what she was supposed to do. She was the catalyst for the story. But Donnie Yen was the one you remember. His friend was the one you remember. Just because he's a freaking homeless dude, walking around talking about, save the rebellion, save the dream, you remember Forrest Whitaker, and he died early. So, spoiler alert. So it's like, realistically, I wasn't really expecting to be vested in these characters that much because we already knew they were going to get offed.
Yeah, let's lay down a really heavy spoilers alert for anyone watching from this point on. I don't want to give away too much, and if I do, I don't want people to be like, I can't believe they spoiled this great movie for me. But yeah, I agree with what Chris said. The idea that you're not really supposed to be emotionally invested in these characters in the same way that you are with, say, Luke, or with Leia, or with Han. Where if they die, it has this detrimental effect. Now, I'd say that the way that they developed Jyn Erso was she has the most emotional effect, kind of like Ben Kenobi did in the first movie. It's, but really, we're still getting to know this character, even though he dies near the very end of the movie. We know that he's important. We get this feeling that he's important. We kind of get that feeling from her, as though her life maybe could have been something bigger than it was, but she gave it for the cause of rebellion. I just like the fact that she wasn't a Mary Sue.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that.
Yeah, she kind of escaped. She kind of escaped the same trappings that we got with Rey. So I think that that was an improvement in terms of the narrative.
And I agree completely and entirely. But just talking about how the characters are, yeah, I kind of liked Donnie Yen and his friend the most. But even then, I still didn't feel anything when they died, just because you're just like, oh, well, you guys kind of like went on an adventure and that was it. And you did some cool ass shit, but it was just like, I don't know. I couldn't care that anybody died. I really just wanted to see Vader. I was kind of hoping that it was more Vader. I was kind of hoping that Vader was going to be on the planet.
Hey, it hurt my heart when K2SO was getting his ass towed up by them damn blasters.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I was like, damn. I said, oh, my boy getting messed up.
Yeah, out of all the characters, K2SO was the one. He was, because again, he was what C-3PO could have been if C-3PO wasn't so effeminate. No offense to anybody that's effeminate, but I mean, K2SO was is the closest we were going to get to a live action HK-47 from Knights of the Old Republic.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, so I enjoyed that. I mean, I really enjoyed, because
meat bags.
Again, I mean, yeah, dude was just straight up like blunt as hell. Just he was cool. I mean, his timing was flawless.
Yes, it was.
Oh my god, that line
Yes,
when the dude was like, "You want to know the probability of her using that blaster on us?"
It's high.
It's high.
It's really high.
It's really high.
It was so good, so good. Yes, I do agree that that Donnie Yen's character was probably one of my more favorite ones besides K2SO. What did you guys think of the main villain, Krennic? Well, not necessarily the main villain, but just what did you think about Krennic, who was apparently the original overseer of the Death Star? What did you think of the guy?
He wasn't as imposing as I felt the trailer was making him.
Mm-hmm.
He was a whiny bitch.
Yeah.
I should be controlling it, man.
Yeah, he kind of
Tell
was
Emperor
like
to let me do it.
Well, okay, so for someone who over the weekend I also watched, they dropped the second season of The Man in the High Castle, which is all about Nazis, and the Nazi hierarchy. You obviously can't not see parallels between the Nazis and the Empire, and it was kind of like that. It's you know, I get the idea of he was kind of doing like the whole, dude, you stole my ideas and you're going to take credit for all my work. It's like, yeah, it's because I'm your superior. It sucks balls for you, but it's going to look great for me when Lord Vader comes into town. And then when he tells, you know, his boy, the Empire or the Emperor, you know, it's going to be great. I mean, he's just patting himself on the back. Yeah, no, I think it was pretty interesting. But I thought he was a good an introduction for a villain that we haven't seen before or even heard from before. He obviously was a genius. The guy was obviously a genius. He had some foresight. Too bad he didn't oversee the plans a little bit closer.
Wait a minute. He's a genius in what way? Are you?
That's the question I want to beg, because like
really, I want to know.
Oh, I'm going to tell you. No, I'll tell you the way. Go ahead, Dido. Go ahead, Dido.
I just want to kind of like, because I want to bring out that whole entire genius thing, because was he involved during the prequels? Because you saw in episode 2, the hologram, I guess, or whatever. I don't know if it was like the initial plans, like they were getting it from those bug creatures. So I thought they were the ones that designed the freaking Death Star. And like, what really was his role? Was his role just to supervisor, see it put together, or you know?
He was like the weapons director. He was the director of weapons.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, think about it like this, okay? He is the Steve Jobs of evil, all right? You know, he's not sitting there going like, "No, guys, make it skinnier." Like, no, he's getting the people together that he knows needs to be there. He gets the best weapons designer he knows. He's like, "Listen, dude, you're gonna be a farmer, really? No, I'm gonna murder your entire family. You're gonna do what I wanted, or I'm gonna murder your entire family." Like, now the question then became like, how do they convince him to do that? And obviously they explain that later in the movie, but at first you're kind of like, okay, how do you force this guy who you just murdered his wife right in front of him, and he's going to assume that you murdered his child as well, unless things just went spectacularly well, which always happens in Star Wars movies, right?
But real quick though, that's the problem I have with any time they try to get somebody to do something like that under extreme duress. It's like, you really think this dude, after seeing all that, is really going to do what you want him to do without screwing you in the end somehow? It's like, that's what I've always hated that about movies. It's like, yeah, I'm going to kill your family. And then you do it. It's like, oh, where's your leverage now? You just killed all your leverage. I have nothing to live for now, because guess what? You just took my whole life away. Why should I do anything you want? That's always been an issue with me, and when it comes to movies like that.
Right. No, I agree. I mean, obviously they explain it. So I guess since we're getting into spoiler territory, I don't want to give away the entirety of the plot, but we know that there is a flaw in the Death Star if you've seen this movie called Star Wars: A New Hope. And
no, they haven't seen that. No. What are you talking about?
It was kind of popular in the 70s. And so, you know, if you've seen Star Wars, obviously, if you're seeing this movie, I'm assuming that you have. You know, we know that there's a flaw in the Death Star, and you get the idea that it was intentionally built that way. And the reason is instead of him giving up hope and dying and saying, "No, screw you, you killed my family," we find out that he's going, okay, they're going to get somebody to do it, but if I do it, I can do it in a way that might eventually lead to its ultimate destruction in a secret hidden flaw. I thought that was actually a genius plot point.
Well, it was, because that was one of the big questions from the original Star Wars, is how the fuck did they know about the weakness?
Right. And also, who would structurally design? It's like, by the way, if you just accidentally drop this, you know, drop your flashlight into this tube, it's going to destroy the whole thing.
Like, how could you? It explains how you could have a weapon of such extraordinary power and have such a crazy weakness like that. And so Rogue One explained how that weakness came.
The power of that technological monstrosity pales in comparison to the power of the Force, obviously.
Indeed. But we can't dwell on this for too long.
Hey, wait a minute.
Go ahead, Dido. Let's
real quick.
Yes.
Real quick. Since that freaking the Death Star is being powered by kyber crystals, would you say it's a gigantic lightsaber?
It's a big lightsaber.
No, just the super laser is powered by kyber crystals.
Yeah, the super laser in the
the laser.
Yeah, the super laser. Yes.
What is a lightsaber?
The lightsaber is a construction of taking that focused super laser, right? And then you have a refracting lens that turns it into an actual blade. So it's really just it's more than just the components of just the kyber crystal and the light and the laser itself. So you've got more than just that. There's been whole books on the constructions of lightsabers and stuff like that. It's all really very interesting stuff, to be honest. All very interesting.
The power we are dealing with here is immeasurable.
But no, honestly, guys, if you haven't seen this film yet, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're waiting for, but you got to go see it. Real quick, guys, let's rank it. As far as Star Wars movies goes, where does this place? GQ?
It sits firmly behind Empire and Revenge of the Sith for me. That's just
Revenge of the Sith
it's
is
based
in your
on the
top
fact
3?
that yeah,
Revenge of the Sith was sweet, man. What the hell are you talking about, Mike?
first PG-13 Star Wars movie ever. So
well, sure. I mean, yeah, Revenge of the Sith was the best of the prequel movies without question. I was a little surprised it'd be that high. Okay, Josh, what about you? Where would you place it?
I'm sorry about that. So I would say I'd probably rank it behind. I'd say it probably goes Empire, Star Wars, and then I'd say this one and 7 are kind of tied for me. I actually like 7 a lot more than most.
Okay.
And then I'd say probably Jedi and Sith
7
are tied.
Okay.
Sith was great. It's just when you had all the campiness, all the hokey dialogue, all the Hayden Christensen.
I love you more. Padme, how am
I?
Oh my God.
That
was
was
terrible.
so bad.
That joke was terrible.
Now, no one is going to argue with you about the awesomeness of the lightsaber fights in the prequels. No one's going to argue with that.
Ever. That was the the greatest stuff ever.
Especially Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Obi-Wan and Anakin was the best ever.
Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Sorry.
I mean, it was
Darth Maul versus Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan is just legit.
Revenge of the Sith was figure 8 city.
Right. Okay. So all right. Since you're on the screen, Kahuna, what would you give? Where would you put Rogue One?
Rogue One. I'm gonna have to agree with GQ. It's right behind Empire. Then I'm gonna say, I loved Force Awakens, so it's gonna be like Force Awakens, Revenge of the Sith. Those are kind of like together, but Rogue One goes right behind Empire for me.
Okay, and Dido.
The best movie was Phantom Menace. No, I'm just joking.
Fuck out of here.
You couldn't even get through that whole sentence, man.
Right. Don't do that.
Yeah. No. Empire. Yeah. Okay. For me, it's like Empire, and then it goes that one, and Force Awakens is third, and New Hope, Jedi. Did I leave something out? Yeah.
Well, you didn't have to rank
Empire.
I just want to know where Rogue One was at. So you put it.
I'm putting it at number 3, but behind Revenge of the Sith. So it's Empire, Sith, that one, Rogue One.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay, there's some varied opinions here. I
know you
just because
you can't take your head off part 2 and look at part 3. Part 3, episode 3, Revenge of the Sith was fucking bomb.
It was
ass awesome, bro.
I have to knock it for that first half with not necessarily the first half, but just the Anakin elements, just how inanely stupid he was in that whole thing. If I can just take it off of just the straight action, yeah, it's definitely number 2. But because of that, and I think Rogue One is a more complete story, more serious, and just everything that was in it. At least right now, maybe
you can't get more serious than killing little.
Maybe
hold on.
When go ahead.
Wait, what part when Anakin was stupid in Sith?
Let's see.
The one line of dialogue that is the proof in the pudding is when Hayden Christensen says, "You will try," and it is like the most wooden, horrible dialogue I have ever heard. There's not a single line in Rogue One that is 1/10 as bad as that. Not a single line. Like the beat that came out of that little shit droid that follows the stormtroopers were more convincing dialogue.
Here's the thing, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Real quick, though, here's why I accepted that way. Because that was at the point where he just did not care anymore. He did not care about the fact that he grew up, following this dude. This was his friend, his best friend. He didn't. It was like, dude, I have no love for you. It's just all pure. you're in my way.
Okay, now look.
That's
So I
fine.
accepted it for
They
that
could have
reason.
had him deliver the dialogue in
Oh
a
no, I agree.
menacing,
I mean,
in a
it could-
menacing,
the chosen
broken,
one.
dark
no,
way.
it could have been more of a rising, you will try, something along those
Something.
lines.
My
But
God.
I got you. But again, I'm sorry.
Man.
As soon as he jumped, turned, and they went at it, I forgot all about that line. I didn't even care. I was like, it's
Yo,
on.
man. Okay, I guess I'm knocking it for the whole Anakin Padme thing. Just the ludicrous.
He's also forgetting the.
Yeah, that was part two.
No. I'm talking about
dude,
even in the beginning.
that's unforgivable.
When they were getting married and all that kind of stuff. Like, I mean, not when they were getting married, but after they saved Palpatine and came back to Coruscant, and that whole side story that they had with Anakin and Padme. It was
They had to
it
have
was
that.
nauseating. It was nauseating.
There's so
first
much
of all,
bad in that movie.
they
There's
had
so much
to have
good.
that, dude.
They had to
They
have some
could've
kind of
done
character
better.
to go
I'm just
right,
saying they could've
because
done
the
better.
thing that was lacking from
I'm
Rogue
sorry.
One.
I mean, we all know where babies come from. However, little kids have to understand that these two are together, and this is why they have kids.
No, that part I get, but I'm just saying they could have script wise. It was just really poorly executed. But
George Lucas can't direct to save his life.
He can't. No, he can't. And I'm so glad he had no part in this. Gareth Edwards is the one that did Rogue One, and he did a phenomenal job.
Dude.
Y'all need to let him do some more. Seriously, because he did a damn
This
good
week,
job.
after Rogue One, this weekend they had a marathon on TNT
Mm-hmm.
of all the Star Wars movies. When I was watching them prequels, it was noticeable then, but it's very noticeable now how horrible the chroma keying was.
Yep.
Oh my God. It was like you could literally tell they were on a studio. They were on a stage.
I
The
think that's
background was like background might as well have just been a poster.
I think that's part of the reason they haven't put those on 4K yet.
Oh my God. Like the background was just one big fat head sticker.
Yeah, because remember how bad you started. remember how you could noticeably tell stuff like once you went from DVD to Blu-ray.
Yeah.
If you went to 4K with those movies, it would kill it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it would.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it would. Honestly, there were so many things about Rogue One we could talk about, but and we can almost eat up the entire show talking about it, but we can't. Real briefly, something else that kind of came out over the weekend was the
Hold on. Before you get to that,
How
about that Vader scene?
Oh
We did not mention
yeah.
Vader.
How can
we
we
can't
not
talk
talk
about
about
it.
that? How can we
You
not talk
can't.
about
You kind of can't because that's super spoiler.
Yeah,
territory.
okay, yeah.
Only thing we can really say is,
oh my God.
only thing we can really say is, without regard to anything else, if you are one of the type that story development and plot and long slow burn gets you, you better take a nap throughout whatever parts and wake your butt up for the last half an hour.
Absolutely. No more needs to be said. We can mention, the reappearance of Peter Cushing as Grand Moff Tarkin. I thought that was a phenomenal job that they did, but we got to move on. We've already burned 20 minutes talking about this. Maybe we can revisit it on a future show. But Josh brought up something that I kind of forgot about that came out. Well, actually, I didn't really forget about, but it premiered yesterday. The Blade Runner trailer for the sequel to Blade Runner. The trailer came out yesterday. I still haven't watched it, but you guys did. So what did you guys think of it?
It looks very promising. I think things looked a little bit too clean. It doesn't have the cyberpunk-esque, neo-noir looks of the original Blade Runner, but I think that just is a habit of the fact that most movies tend to look a lot more clean than they did. If they try to do a shot-for-shot remake of RoboCop, it's going to look, you're going to be like, man, Detroit looks great. There's a point at which movies tend to look so clean nowadays, unless they make them look really dirty. Even though we just talked about Rogue One, obviously Rogue One had the gritty realism and kind of, I guess the dirty futuristic look that Star Wars, was kind of famous for when it first came out. It's a little bit cleaner of a look than that, but it looks really promising. There's very little to have. It's a nice teaser. If you haven't checked it out, you should definitely go ahead and do that as soon as possible.
One thing that would actually help that, I'm not exactly sure how they shot it, but I know what you're saying is definitely because everything looks sterilized, but at the same time, I think this is one of the side effects of when you don't shoot on film anymore. Granted, shooting on film is extremely expensive, but there's just certain things about just the color richness and just how it looks. Like, for example, Hateful Eight, beautiful movie. Like you cannot get around the fact that shot in 70 millimeter, that movie looked outstanding. But also there was just those little touches of the fact that it was shot on film versus being shot, with a digital camera, that everything comes through perfectly clean, pixel perfect, as they say. So I
Right.
think that's now that obviously a lot of companies are getting away from film because again, it's just a process is too damn expensive. I think that's one of the things that you're going to lose is that original grittiness of filmmaking.
Yeah, there was another trailer that came out for Chris Nolan's new movie Dunkirk that it premiered when I went and saw Rogue One, and it's also shot in 35 and 70 millimeter, and it looks really, really clean as well. So I mean, there's a way to do it with film where it does kind of have that beautiful gritty look like Hateful Eight. There's a way to do it like Chris Nolan's shot movies. So yeah, maybe it has something to do with the digital process, but nonetheless, definitely check out the trailer for the new Blade Runner 2049. It looks really impressive.
I thought it was cool. I think it's going to be hilarious to see old Harrison Ford running around, but
Didn't watch it. Sorry, I don't like teasers, man. I want to watch the movie. No, I love buying first day games. I don't play the first day games. I love buying them. I don't like teasers because the teaser's like, shit, now I gotta wait 2 years or whatever for a movie to come out. You're just sitting there like, fuck, what'd I do? Why'd I torture myself?
Well, in this movie's case, you got to wait another, 32 years. Got a little bit of wait ahead of us. Keep them in suspense.
No, it had to be superb. You'd have to get an Avengers like reaction, and Avengers like what did it take from the box office? No, not at all. People are so jaded on freaking video game movies is crazy, and it'd have to do something phenomenal for people to actually look at it because right now it's the age of comic book movies. We don't know what's going to happen next. They've been doing video game movies since I don't even know if you can consider the stuff from the 80s based off of video game, even though it's kind of a video game movie, but like just say from the 90s, started doing video game movies based off of video games.
The Wizard.
And yeah, The Wizard. I mean, you got freaking Super Mario Brothers, garbage. Mortal Kombat was good, but Annihilation was garbage.
Yes.
Tomb Raider, I don't know.
Honestly, wait, can we really say Mortal Kombat 1 was good upon further viewings? Can we really say it was good? Good.
It wasn't terrible.
Okay, it wasn't terrible, but I don't know if it was good. But anyway, please carry on with your thought.
Compared to Annihilation, it was friggin' Citizen Kane.
It was Oscar worthy compared to Annihilation.
So, but like just going after those movies, I don't know if they've not been putting effort in. I mean, we were talking earlier, Silent Hill to me is still one of the best adaptations from a video game. Even though they changed the main character, it still had the feel. It had the soundtrack. It was phenomenal. I thought they were going to do that with Resident Evil because you think. Resident Evil has a superb story that's easy to freaking replicate on film. But they're just, we're not going to do it that way. We're just going to come up with a new character and new settings and new blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to say that, no, Assassin's Creed is not going to do anything. It's coming out this Wednesday. What's that? Tomorrow? I think it's going to come and it's going to be gone like a flash.
Hold on.
Wasn't going to pay any attention to it.
How you going to leave out Street Fighter?
Well,
I left out Street Fighter on purpose.
Come on, you mean the greatest video game movie ever made, Street Fighter?
Of course,
with Raul Julia and
Raul Julia, dude. I'm sorry,
R.I.P.
That man, yes, definitely rest in peace, because that man spawned so many memes from that movie alone. Like Kahuna had material for years off of that dude's one performance, man. That
our resident meme expert.
Like, yeah.
Kahuna.
That movie, man. Oh my god.
So bad. So very
Only
bad.
good thing about that movie was
obviously Guile.
I know he's not. I already know who he's talking.
You already know where I'm going.
Yeah, he was all about that Chun-Li.
Agent
Baby Baby Chun-Li, yes.
Have my babies, please, Ming-Na.
Yeah.
And then one thing is, Kylie Minogue was in that movie.
Yes, she was.
Raul Julia. Like, dude, I mean, the movie was funny. I don't care. I like that movie.
Oh, the movie's hilarious. Every time it comes on, I still watch it.
Oh man, yeah. It was. We've come a long way.
It's one of those guilty pleasures.
We've definitely come a long way. But okay, let's take it off the premise that Assassin's Creed, is a very good sci-fi flick, and we know that those are kind of in short supply if you're not talking about superhero movies or things like that. They don't really do sci-fi in the movies.
Well, you know what? Here's my thing on Assassin's Creed. For me, because I've never really played the game.
Mm-hmm.
I've only really played it like in-store game setup stuff like that.
Right.
So I'm not too vested or don't really know the whole storyline, so I'm not really jaded by it. So I'm going into it with kind of a fresh eyes. So I think that's a plus for me. Because I know most people, they don't like it already because they don't like the video game franchise or whatever. But to me, it looks kind of good. Michael Fassbender is a great actor. The movie is basically all parkour, pretty much, which I love parkour too. I love watching videos of that. It looks good. Like I said, I don't know any of the storylines, so I can't compare it to anything. I can't say, this doesn't go with the story, or this and that, or that person's not in it, or this and that. I don't know anything about it. So to me, it just looks like a cool action movie.
I'm gonna tell you something about me, Big Kahuna, and you may know this already. After Resident Evil 2, I don't look at movies like that anymore. I'm going in this movie looking at it as a good movie, not if they got the video game right on the movie, because
isn't that
you just got burned so many times?
Isn't that what's so important?
Nobody should ever expect that shit.
Right. I mean, but they will. They can't help it. They will.
There will be people.
They're doing it now.
Right. They're doing it now.
I'm not gonna be one of them. I want to see the movie for like the special effects. I want to see the movie for the parkour. I want to see the movie for the action, because the first Assassin's Creed is the reason why we like Assassin's Creed.
Right.
Second Assassin's Creed cemented that. The third one, they started breaking up that cement, and the fourth one, they threw it in the landfill.
Right.
I
mean, like, seriously.
And then all the rest of them,
everybody.
So I'm not even looking at the games. It's just like the games are the games, the movie's the movie. So.
Exactly.
And see what kind of did it for me too
with comic book movies as well. I'm sorry, Kahuna. I'll let you finish in a second. But that's the problem with comic book movies too, because you've got comic book fans that are so tied to the source material. If there's one itty bitty little thing, that's different about the characterization of the character, they're ready to rip the movie to shreds and like it's a terrible movie. When it's not necessarily the case, right? They're complete elitists. It's like seriously, it's like. I know my comic book history. Josh knows his comic book history. Chris knows a bit of comic book history. Of course, Super Nerd, he knows a lot of comic book history. But we're not going to let that prevent us from enjoying the movie as a movie. That's what they should do with this. Instead of treating it as like it's a game first, a movie second, they should just treat it as it's a movie that's an adaptation of the game. It's not going to have every single thing that the game had in it. So go ahead and finish, Kuno. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, you're right on that too. Is like, I go into it looking at it like that. I already know that movie studios TV shows, all that, they're going to take their liberties on the story arc. They're going to add stuff that wasn't in there or whatever like that. So, I already go into expecting that. But what I was going to say is that last night, I believe the featurette came on after WWE Raw last night, was where they're going kind of behind the scenes and how the director is not really trying to rely on CGI and special effects. He's actually using stunt people, like the leap of faith and all that, and how he's using, like practical stuff. So, I like when they use practical effects and, all the fight scenes or, stunt doubles and, everything like that, when they don't rely heavily on CGI. So that's another thing that kind of brings the movie up for me, which I think I might enjoy, is because of that featurette that I watched last night.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, I think here's what would sell it for me. Assassin's Creed, what I liked about the original game, and even what they expanded upon in Assassin's Creed 2, was the fact that the idea was very similar to Hitman in a sense. Like your whole thing was to blend in and make these kills, do what you got to do, and get out of there, basically unseen. Now, of course, if the action and you did get spotted, then it became very fast-paced parkour style chase sequences, which was cool. I mean, that's what made that game so intriguing to me, was just the fact that, like, dude, you're doing like all this really cool stuff in this game and you're in complete control for the most part. I mean, except for the fact that he couldn't swim in the first game, which sucked. Whatever. So I mean, I don't know, and Fassbender's a great actor, so I mean, they're going to be able to carry out any and all dialogue sequences, any storytelling. That's going to be solid. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, unless the script is just outright stupid. The action's going to be
before. That could happen.
Yeah, so I mean, I think what it is a lot of people are trying to approach this with a, like you said, trying to be like, oh, well, it's got to be exactly like the games, or this is the story they need to tell. And it's like, no, it has the name of the game. It's inspired by the game. Game story spans centuries, so you can't just, they gotta pick their own story and tell it. Otherwise, you've already played through the game. You know exactly what's gonna happen.
Exactly.
So it's, they have to pick something different and go with, inspired by.
Right. They gotta surprise you somewhere. Exactly. They gotta surprise you somewhere.
So now, granted, if they mess that up, then yeah, I'm gonna dog them all day, because again, it's not a difficult type of story to tell. I mean, it's an assassin character.
Remember Batman v Superman?
Batman v Martha.
Yes. My man. Okay.
You know what I want? I want them to come out with a Martha figure. Both Marthas. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, the Martha 2-pack.
You just gotta get one of
both Martha.
Get one of the Maggie figures from the Walking Dead series and then just repaint it. And
there they go. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Okay, so all right. We think I think Assassin's Creed can succeed, but in case it does fail, let's throw out some potential ones that actually could succeed, cinematically from in the theaters. I already know Miao Yin would say Mass Effect, but I'm going to say no. I don't think Mass Effect would work. I think too many story elements that are too grand. I think that you could, for you to nail it down into something and work in a movie. But what do you guys say? What do you think would be a very good one? In the chat, I want to say hello to our newest watcher, Gandalfins. He actually said Half-Life might be pretty good. Portal might be pretty good, but the first one he said was Dark Souls. He said Dark Souls probably would actually be pretty good. What do you guys say?
Angry Birds.
No, yeah, Angry Birds. I think it's already made it.
Angry Birds got a movie already.
No,
they got a
Last
movie?
of Us.
Yes.
They already did it.
Last of Us is probably one of the best. That's most prone for cinematic adaptation.
Are we getting that with Hugh Jackman?
You talking about Logan?
Logan, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty damn close.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, Last of Us, the Uncharted series is basically modern Indiana Jones, as are the newer Tomb Raider versions. So I think that either if they are doing a Tomb Raider version with the actress from Ex Machina. And then I know that they're supposed to be doing an Uncharted.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, both of those, if you just follow the basic plot of one of the games. you know, it's those games are just they're begging to be made into a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna cheat and say Knights of the Old Republic would make a great movie, but
Oh my god.
Who knows?
Look, no.
Disney
I
might
mean,
be tapping that well.
he's right. I think Rogue One. I mean, one of the things that Seven and I were talking about over the phone is we want to see them get away from already previously established stories. Star Wars is so big; they could literally pick anything and
Into
go
the expanded
anywhere.
universe.
Yeah.
Well, here's what we know about
expanded
Disney
or
and
even
Star
old.
Wars, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Disney is going to keep tapping the well until the well is dry, and then they're going to develop Star Wars fracking, and they're going to find a way to get something out of the ground. Like
Shit,
if they have
doing
to,
that already
if they
with
have
the
to
original
absolutely
story?
destroy the infrastructure of the entire planet, they will find more Star Wars to tap. So
That's a real deep well, though, man. That's a real deep well.
it's very
Here's
deep.
one thing I would also like to see on the Capcom side of things. I'd like to see a Devil May Cry movie.
Interesting.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting.
Now
It'd
we're
be
talking,
a dark
original,
horror
right? That's that
action.
new Dante, right? The original, right?
The original, yeah.
Yeah.
And Virgil. But also the one that Dido keeps holding up, Dead Rising, would also make for it interesting.
I think it'd be a better zombie movie than friggin'
They already
have-
made 2 Dead
They have a
Rising
movie.
movies for television.
Yeah.
Oh, they did?
Yep.
You talking about like CG movie now?
Just
You
recently.
mean like
No,
on
not-
the Sharknado network?
Yes, I believe so.
Oh,
No, I think
Jesus.
they were on,
Oh, they live action?
Yeah.
or on Crackle or something. Yeah, live
Yeah,
action.
live action. Yeah, just recently too.
Well, you know what?
Shiz-
I won't be like that. Maybe they actually are pretty good, but then
They're probably not.
they're probably
They're probably
Don't-
just as
they're
bad as you
probably
think they
not.
are.
No.
If I had to guess.
They're probably not.
No
Now,
budget.
We had Street Fighter Resurrection. The first one. I didn't bother watching the one that was for Street Fighter 5. I didn't bother watching that one, but I remember Street Fighter Resurrection actually was pretty good. But what about some people were saying like Gandalfin said Warhammer 40K could be one, and I thought that might be a little bit too niche because not enough.
It is too niche. I
it's
mean,
a
the
little too
Warcraft
niche.
movie.
Yeah,
The Warcraft movie has
yeah.
proven that the MMO is extraordinarily hard to adapt. You're going to leave so much of the lore on the cutting room floor.
Exactly.
That the fans aren't going to like it. Another thing that we didn't talk about earlier when you were talking about Assassin's Creed, which I think could be a pretty successful movie. Obviously, they'd love to launch a franchise. You know, they'd love to have a trilogy of Assassin's Creed movies, and if they did them well, they could. But one thing that me and Eric talk about on the podcast semi-frequently is the idea that with comic book movies and with video game movies, everyone keeps talking about the source material, and you guys talked about the fact that they're adaptations and people need to get past that. But another thing that people need to get past, even the hardcore ardent comic book fans, of which I am one, is 10% of the movie-going audience are people who know the source material, whether it be, the Divergent series, the Twilight series, the Mocking or the Hunger Games series.
Yeah.
You name the literary. I think one of the only ones that might have a slightly larger reading audience is Lord of the Rings, and that's only because it's been out for 60 years. But you're gonna have, no matter whether it be the video game audience. I mean, I'm gonna tell you what. Like, my dad's the classic action movie going, male movie viewer in his age group.
Basically.
Yeah. He's Tim Allen, right? He's Tim Allen.
Basically, yeah.
If he sees the trailer for Assassin's Creed, which I just watched the second trailer, he's gonna go, "Oh man, that movie looks crazy awesome." I'd see that. Now he might not see it in theaters, but he might pick up the DVD. So what's gonna get butts and seats? It's it's just, hey, do I have a spare $10 and a spare 2 hours to spend? And the average movie is going to go see it unless they hear it's absolute garbage. So they make a decent product. The average person is going to go see it. If it gets good word of mouth, it might be more successful. But
okay, I'm gonna just throw this out here. Dido's played it. I've played it. And it might be the most possible live action of them all. Final Fantasy 15.
They could do it. You could see it easily. But the problem is that I foresee it if they don't do it seriously, because people are already making jokes. It's a bachelor's party, so it's like
it is, man.
It is. Guy's trying to get to his wedding, and then all this bullshit starts to happen.
Right. I mean, hey, that sounds like a pretty good start for a movie to me. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I personally think that it's actually pretty good, a good story. But they do have Kingsglaive, if I remember correctly.
Kingsglaive was
Right.
actually
It was
pretty
a
decent
full-
to me.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
pretty decent.
Right.
But
And don't forget that the
here's-
Bachelors are also part of an early 2000s boy band. Don't forget that was a
Well, here's
critical
the other
part.
problem. And we've already had a movie about guys trying to get to a wedding, and that was called The Hangover.
Yes.
So I mean, this is just The Hangover,
Hangover
with
Final Fantasy in it. Yeah.
summons and
And
magic.
Yeah.
Which again, whatever. I mean, there's only so many different types of stories you can tell anyway.
True.
To me, though, Final Fantasy 7 or 8 would be a better, more
I
cinematic
would
experience.
love to get an 8. Would love to get an 8. Just because I think 8 is vastly undervalued. I think for a lot of people, vastly undervalued 8. I loved 8. I thought 8 was great. But in any case, what other films? Kahuna, you haven't really chimed in. Any old school games that you would like to see played, made into like a movie or something like that?
Pac-Man does not count.
No, it does not. Donkey Kong either. Donkey Kong either. So you already got yours with Pixels if you're gonna go that route. But is there anything else?
I mean, no, I can't really think of anything off the top.
Here's one. How about this one? Damn, it was right on the tip of my tongue. I forgot it that fast. Gandolphins. There was a Doom film already, with Carl Urban and The Rock.
Carl Urban and The Rock, and it was garbage.
And it was garbage. It was garbage. So what about what are the odds that they'd ever do Metal Gear Solid? Now I know for the longest time, and I think we can almost all agree that this like more cinematic type kick kind of started when Metal Gear 2 came out. Like when that E3 dropped and it had that trailer when Snake was running on the Brooklyn Bridge and he jumped off and got onto the freighter or whatever. I think the cinematic move started there because it had Henry Gregson Williams doing the soundtrack, and it was like, oh my god, it's gonna like be super cinematic. What about Metal Gear Solid as a movie?
I think it could lend itself to a movie very well. I think the problem with all kinds of games, especially games like that, which are hours and hours and hours long, is that so much of that's the slow-paced gameplay, which is not going to translate into a film. So that's where you have to have a game that has deep story elements, and obviously Metal Gear has that in spades. If they did it like think like the Mission Impossible 3 or 4, where it was a way more serious than it was an action piece, like deadly threats, and then they throw in giant robots that are nuclearly capable. I mean, it could be pretty interesting.
Metal Gear starring Tom Cruise.
No!
Tom Cruise running and jumping from Metal Gears. It would be
no.
Here's the thing though. They honestly, if they took Metal Gear Solid, just solid, none of the extra, none of the just solid, they could do it. They'd have to get rid of some of the Foxhound team, like Decoy Octopus. Throw away. You don't even need them. You'd have to have the Psycho Mantis fight. You'd have to have Vulcan Raven. You'd have to have Ocelot, and you'd have to have Vulcan Raven. You'd have to obviously have Liquid. But you could do it. I mean, Sniper Wolf, I would just love to see who would play her.
Yes.
But,
yes.
you would.
Yes.
Yeah, there's that movie could be done, but they'd have to do it. It'd have to be 2 hours long. You can't play around with that and try to squeeze all that to a 90-minute movie.
It'd have to be like a quick infiltration movie. Who would do Meryl?
Yeah,
I wonder who would do Meryl. Better yet, who would do the Colonel? Who would be a good Colonel? William Hurt.
Arlie Emery.
Michael
There you
Ironside.
go.
I mean, come on. I mean, like, just pick one
Michael
of 5
Ironside.
great actors.
Michael Ironside. That would be awesome. Just his voice. Snake.
He would make an interesting Colonel.
Yeah, he
Only
would.
problem is Kurt Russell's too old to be Pliskin now.
True.
He could be Big Boss.
Yeah,
he could be Big Boss though.
He could be. Gandalfins is saying, what about Destiny? And I know this
Destiny
Does Destiny even really have a story?
Josh.
Oh, dude, it's got a super deep story. Yeah, for sure. Destiny could be an interesting, gigantic cinematic sci-fi piece. I think like Oblivion, like Tom Cruise's Oblivion. It's got a lot of similarities actually in terms of some of the narrative.
You know what? Just because you mentioned Tom Cruise with Destiny, I'm going to discount it as a possible candidate. No, especially Oblivion. That movie was
No,
terrible.
I enjoyed Oblivion quite a bit, actually. No, I just think that the idea is pretty. It's pretty out there in terms of sci-fi concepts and things like that. It's a big concept, like Warhammer 40K and Destiny and a lot of these other MMOs, Eve Online. Yes, come on, none of these things are going to make for great movies because they have so much to pull from. But I think Destiny. You could maybe make a great Destiny anime or a great Destiny CG television show or animated show or something like that. Just like, I mean, why isn't here we go? Why isn't Halo a goddamn movie yet?
Yeah,
like, why isn't Halo a movie yet? Like,
but you know
what in God's name is holding people up on
but
that?
Halo got that movie, that series starring Mike Coulter, aka Luke Cage. So
right, it was a good series. I mean, okay, all I got to say is just go and look up Halo commercials live action, and like some of them are so good.
Some of them are good. Yeah. Some are really good.
Some of them are so good. You're like, why is this not a movie?
Like
and
that last one that Michael B. Jordan
not a complicated story.
Yeah,
it is not
that the one with Michael B. Jordan, or is that? Am I thinking of a Call of Duty one?
I think it might be
Call of Duty. But yeah, those Halo commercials are fantastic. Absolutely
Two
fantastic.
of them. Two movies that you guys didn't mention. Gears of War would be perfect.
Yeah.
And the Yakuza.
Yeah.
Yakuza was a great, and unfortunately, in order to do it right, they did come out with a live action Yakuza movie, but it was trash because it was just scenes, and then they added shit that had nothing to do. I was like, what is going on? Who cares about these?
Speaking of
these
Yakuza,
guys
I
as
can't wait for
Robert
that to come over here because I'm looking forward to finally playing that for the first time.
But Yakuza would be done right if you get the right person behind it and beat Takashi. He would, since he's going to be in the new game, he would be able to do it correctly. But Gears of War would be a great science fiction. I don't know if he would stick kind of horror, like do an alien style science fiction horror type movie.
No, just make it a gritty sci-fi war movie that happens to be in space, whatever, different planet.
All right, I found my Sniper Wolf.
Oh, okay, all right.
I'm gonna go with Priyanka Chopra.
Yes, my man. Yes, hell yes. I will. Yes, absolutely.
That's my other TV thing.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Let me see. Saint Matrix on over on Twitch is saying, what about Overwatch? Now, Overwatch, I don't know. I think Overwatch has too many wacky characters to be a really good movie, and it doesn't really have a story. I don't think it really has a story. I don't think it really has a story. But thank you for the suggestion. I don't know that I don't know.
Now, I will say this. I was thinking about this the other day, and it brought me great sadness that the fact that it doesn't exist is. Let's go the opposite way around. How about movies that should be games and aren't? And specifically, like GoldenEye is one of the greatest games of all time. Why have we not had another spectacular James Bond game? Like, what is holding?
Okay, I think it's hard. I think it's really hard.
Not enough.
Because I think a lot of them try to replicate the success of GoldenEye at first. But one that was excellent to me, I loved it anyway, was 007 Everything or Nothing on the PS2. I loved that game because I thought it was the most complete it made me feel like I was James Bond, It really
that was a solid flip.
I thought that was really good. I thought it made me feel like it was really James Bond. And we got a couple of new ones. Dyer282 is over on Twitch. Hello, welcome back to the story. Gandalfus is saying StarCraft is one, might be a good one.
I have a feeling that this guy might like MMO games. I'm just a guess.
He might. I don't know what make you say that, but he might. But anyway, guys, Dido is saying that we've got 7 minutes left. We don't want to keep you guys in suspense any longer. We want to go ahead and wish you all a Merry Christmas and celebrate it by giving away some gifts. We all kind of pulled in resources and came up with a lot of really good gifts to give away. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to GQ. He's going to run the floor and he's going to announce who won what. Go ahead, GQ.
All right. Well, we're going to do this in reverse order, just like the Miss America pageant.
Drum roll, please.
Oh, right. Over on Instagram, I believe, Little Bumble Bear. You have won yourself digital. You cannot have my physicals. digital copies of Suicide Squad. I'm sorry, this is Suicide Squad, Captain America: Civil War, and also Edge of Tomorrow: Live, Die, Repeat. So those are going to be coming to you via direct message. We will try to make sure that we can put the instructions as to how to get your digital copies. Also, Script Kitty, not Strip Kitty or anything strange like that. Instagram. Ooh. You have won a copy of digital Batman v Superman or Batman v Martha, whichever you prefer.
I like Batman v Martha, actually.
Deadpool, great movie. I hope you're over 18.
Maximum effort.
Actually, you're supposed to be over 18 to enter anyway. And then Ex Machina. So you got digital copies of those. And without further ado, grand prize winner. Got the one that you all want. That good old NES classic.
Woo woo.
Along with didn't it have a couple of other things along with it?
Oh, they got the NES classic and a controller extender.
Oh, right. Okay, all right. Thanks for that drum roll. I'm sorry.
Controller extender.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Right. So that's Mr. J, or put you out there, Mr. Jim Hayes, over on YouTube. As they said in Fifth Element, you're a winner.
You're a winner.
Congratulations.
So, Mr. Hayes, you have from this moment, it is 8 o'clock, almost 8 o'clock Eastern time. You have until 8 o'clock Eastern time,
Thursday.
That would be Thursday, to get back with us, get your address to us so we can get that mailed out to you. If you get back with us tonight, that package will be going out tomorrow, and you'll probably have it by Friday or Saturday. So just in time for Christmas. So
indeed,
get on it. Our other winners, you'd have nothing to do but accept, check your direct messages. We'll make sure we send something right to you, or hey, we'll make it happen. Or otherwise, you contact us. We'll make it happen.
Okay. All right. Great. Man, we want to thank everybody for entering. We're gonna, start to do more contests, more giveaway contests, because not only do we want to thank you guys for joining, but we find that bribing is actually a pretty good reason for people to come back. But anyway, we kind of want to, we kind of want to reward, we kind of want to reward people for actually paying attention and watching us and following along with us. So we want to pay it back to you guys. What do you guys got going on for Christmas before we go ahead and get ready to get out of here?
Season 2 of Street Fighter V started today, and Akuma is back.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of play that's going to be happening there. I'll be doing that for the next couple of days. My character is back.
Right. You mean Shonuff is back, right? He Shonuff looks like Shonuff though. For real, he does. He does exactly look like Shonuff. Anybody else? What are you guys going to do for Christmas? What else? Anybody else?
Getting back into some more Final Fantasy 15. I'm still in chapter 2, but I'm level 27.
You're chapter what? You're in chapter 3, level 27?
Chapter 2, level 27.
Wow, man, you've really been pulling all those side quests, haven't you?
So all I've been doing is side missions.
Getting the grind.
Yeah. I'm on level 50 plus, and I'm actually right at chapter 13, the infamous chapter 13, which is supposed to be really hard. But I know.
Don't tell me.
No, I'm not gonna spoil anything. But Thursday, they're gonna release the DLC, which is supposed to kind of address some of the problems people were having with Final Fantasy 13. So I'm looking forward to actually playing that. What about you, Kuna?
A lot of eating. Lots of gift opening.
Of course.
God bless America.
And the only Christmas tradition I personally have is every Christmas Eve at 8 o'clock p.m. TBS, 24 hours of Christmas Story. My TV never changes.
You seriously stay tuned in for the entire thing.
The entire thing, my TV.
I've never seen that movie.
That's
that
my
movie's
only.
funny as hell, man. You got to see that movie. That's add it to something for you and Adobo Girl to do, because I know you're saying that she never got to see. What is it that you said she never got to see before? Oh, American Pie.
I just showed her American Pie.
Yeah, she never saw American Pie. Add that to your list of something to see.
That's my favorite.
Freaking hilarious, man.
That's my favorite Christmas movie.
I'm gonna check it out. I want to see it.
Yeah, you should want to see it. And finally, Josh, what are you gonna be doing this Christmas, man?
I'm gonna be hanging out with family. I also partake in the Christmas story. It pretty much goes on at our family's house, and we tend to watch that in the background while everyone's doing their thing. So
Yeah, that's what
I'm
it is.
also probably going to be. My Christmas vacation has already started. I am off until December 3rd, so I'm going to be twitching a lot. So
I mean,
check out
January
our
3rd,
Twitch
right? 'Cause
channel.
You're not going to be off for an entire year until December
No.
3rd, right?
I'm sorry, January 3rd.
Okay.
Yes, you are.
All right. Glad
And
to clear
so yeah, I'll be twitching quite a bit on the Culture Junkies Twitch channel. So check that out.
Way to go there, Josh. So tune in to Josh. He's been playing Until Dawn for a while, so he'll be doing some more twitching and stuff like that. I've been working on a nice little project for Culture Junkies as well. I'll probably be ready to announce that next week. But next week we're going to be doing the Culture Junkie Nation Awards. Join our Facebook discussion group. We're going to put up the voting polls for everybody to vote on the awards that we want to give away for all the stuff that we actually consumed this year, from best movie to the most hype moment that came out and the most disappointing game that we thought was actually going to be good. And I think there's one game that might win in the runaway, but I won't reveal it here. Tune in next week. For GQ, for Josh L, for Big Kahuna, and for the great Dadakuji, I'm Kishiro. We'll see you guys next week. Have a very safe and happy holidays. We'll see you guys next Tuesday. Thank you for tuning in. See you guys later.
Melikalikimaka.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, guys.
Happy Hanukkah to you all.
Merry Christmas, Hana Kwanzaa.
Wow. See you guys later.